What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 64 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, he lives. The mutant stood tall against the, I want to say, 5 or 6 stacks of Clan Angrand and just managed to pull it off. Twice he came close to running out of ammunition, but at the end of the day, his army was victorious and Clan Angrand pretty much lies broken. Very nice, and I'm quite happy with it. In addition to that, we also had Aquitaine unfortunately get sacked by Grutshot over here. Let's repair that immediately. By, I think it was Grutshot, or it might have been Snide, doesn't really matter. One of the little orky armies belonging to the Broken Axe, but fortunately, they didn't take it over, and on top of that, we still have the alarm tunnel there, so if they don't attack it again, it will be back up and running fairly shortly. Ikit is also under siege, but this is a terrible idea for anybody to do unless they brought 10 stacks to help them out, because Ikit's just going to just go through these guys like a, well, like a rattling gun, and break the Broken Axe for good. Though, of course, we still need to get Garth moving up north to take all of their territories, but with Ikit having taken out their armies, which I don't imagine... Well, actually, these armies are self-sufficient, but Grom's regular armies are not. So I guess this doesn't actually increase the amount of money that he spends, but I suppose while Grom's army is out here, with Mutant 3 or 4 or whatever, we're still probably okay to have Garth do his thing. Also, unfortunately, this episode's probably going to be a little bit late, maybe a day or so. I decided to take the Saturday off and relax. For those who don't know, I was supposed to start my vacation, well, quite a while ago now, over a week ago, but unfortunately last week somebody at work got sick and I had to go into the office and cover for them. Fortunately, though, now my vacation is properly going to get started, and on top of that, I will get a little bit of a longer vacation by virtue of coming in when I wasn't supposed to, so, you know, I'm conflicted. On the one hand, yes, I'm annoyed. On the other hand, I'm more time off, so, you know, it's fair. It's fair enough, I should say. Anyway, let's begin with what we've got to do. This episode will definitely see Ikit fight as well as CORPABLE down south, who's completely surrounded by Ironbrow's expedition dwarfs, who have done a good job at taking out Orion's camp, even if the faction isn't dead. We will probably be able to take out 2 of these armies, though then we'll have to probably move back to Kasabar, and I'm not entirely sure whether CORPABLE can hold against 3. The problem with CORPABLE's army isn't so much that it's weak, but so that it's not really going to be adept at fighting dwarven armies, as it is piles of storm vermin. Enemy ironbreakers and hammers and slayers and whatnot are obviously going to be superior to storm vermin no matter what, and his lack of ranged units is going to be quite the issue. We'll see what he can do. It would be sad for him to die only for, well, for Mutant to survive only for CORPABLE to die, but fortunately CORPABLE is immortal at level 20, so even if he loses his army, he can come back to rat another day. Actually, speaking of immortality, Mutant also reached level 20 just after defeating those Clan Angrand enemies, which I find kind of funny, but also an appropriate reward to acquire immortality for all that. Let's just say the Horned Rat lifted up one of its loyal followers. Anyway, I guess we could do probably a little bit of admin. You know, we have a lot of money saved up, and ooh, actually, we have a lot of food saved up as well, so if we start fighting, we're gonna max out on food. You know what we can do? We can have Bok the Lethal take Carrick Vlag here. Let's see if this is auto-resolvable. Yeah, that looks pretty auto-resolvable. Alright, and we'll have him auto-resolve that, and then occupy it. Yeah, just occupy, this isn't... we'll occupy it to tier 4. A little bit much, but frankly, we're almost maxed out on food, and if we move this turn, we're probably going to be maxed out. So, a free tier 4 in Carrick Vlag, by the looks of it. And we're still at 86%? Was that a little bit too much? Maybe, maybe not, depending on how many attacks Ikit and CORPABLE can do. Now, Dusty. Probably going to attack Silent. I'd prefer not to lose Uskalek, but we'll see. What will hopefully happen is Dusty will siege it, which will allow Bok the Lethal to move in and help out. We're also probably going to have to do something about the... Ooh, yes, upgrade. And, oh wow, 4.8k. No, you know what? Maybe not. Oh, Frozen Landing. You're gonna die, aren't you? These guys are... Actually, they're not in range, so we could put a temporary army up here. I really do have to wonder how much our allies here are gonna help. It looks like they're not moving this way, but maybe they will. Also, Ickstone, before I forget, you're a tough chieftain. Do we put chieftains with Buck, or do we give him... or do we give him Packmasters? The thing is, Buck was the leader of Clan Ferric, right? And Clan Ferric is... I believe it's Storm Vermin with Skryre. They're Skryre adjacent, aren't they? Oh, damn, I gotta look it up. Well, I guess he does have Rattling guns, but yeah. I want to say they have something going with Skryre stuff, but I'm not 100% sure on it. But Buck the Lethal still wants to be super speed, but I do like the idea of, him getting, the rocket boots from Skryre and being all about that speed. I guess we could give him a couple of Doom Wheels or some Doom Flares or something. I do have various ideas for various armies, but I'd really like to see whether, or when Snitch and Co. come back, and then do that. Anyway, let's do a little bit of building. It's been a while, or at least it feels like it's been a while, because it's been so many turns defending one, or so many episodes going with one turn. A Rattling Warrens for you. We're not going to collect the income yet, especially as all these places are negative income, but we'll see. Alright, gotta remember that Throt can also fight here. That might be interesting. Mordheim, probably shouldn't bother with it, frankly. Though I suppose this guy could move down to Karakadrin, but we'll leave it alone for now. Hawkland. Edgig, I guess we can upgrade. A little bit annoying that it has a plague, but whatever. Taskmaster's Platform, Rubbish Pit, I guess it doesn't matter. Let's go for Rubbish Pit for now. Ostland. We're gonna do like half of the building. We'll probably want to maintain some money, as we'll probably want to do some global recruitment right now anyway. Alrighty, do that and that. Middenland. Middenstag. I'm still on the fence as to whether we should steal Middenheim from them or not. On the one hand, it'll give us more money. On the other hand, it'll probably keep these guys fairly strong by having 2 Dark Fortresses rather than 1. And they are an ally, which we could get to a full military ally if we wanted to. Oh yes, Kerk Vlag, yes. Let's upgrade you. Definitely covert choke points, definitely marble. Let's also get the... wait. Oh, it doesn't have that little, it doesn't have a little symbol. Weird. Oh well. Hardly an issue. Let's also upgrade you. Oh, wow, okay, now. Frozen Landing, never mind. If we get a temporary army there, we will, but we'll ignore you for now. And then, the question is, what do we build here? Now, Buck, you may want to have access to at least some things. We do have an arsenal or a weapon burrow here in Carrick Doom, and the problem with this is the fact that it is a tier 3, so we don't have access to the good stuff. If nothing else, we're gonna have to get some Giselles via global recruitment. Oh, but that's gonna take 2 turns. I think we can't sit here for 2 turns. Yeah. We could try to build some more Giselles on you. Only at tier 3, but whatever. Like so. And we'll see if we can get them. We can recruit stuff for you, but only stuff that takes 1 turn. Which is not going to be any of the good stuff, is it? I mean, I guess we could get more Plague Claws, but 4 Plague Claws is okay. Actually, I feel like I'd rather have 2 more Plague Claws than 2 Night Runners with slings. They're not going to be all that helpful here. Let's do that. Once again, just because it takes 1 turn to do so. And I believe that's all we could do with you, my friend. I guess we could really quickly replace some of these clan rats, but just, you know what, let's do 1. I guess. Although, if we want to do some global recruitment at Frozen Land, you know what, I'll think about that. Not super important right now. Alrighty, you know what? That's, I think, enough talking for a little bit. Let us do a battle. Let's jump into one. Let's start with Ikit, shall we say? It feels like it's been a while since he's done things. Ikit, you don't get an ambush here, but I don't think it really matters all that much. I guess we'll do this cinematically, even though, frankly, these guys stand no chance against us. Just for fun. I could hear what he said, but it sounds like he was muttering something, which tickles me. But anyway, I feel like I probably could have auto-resolved this battle, but the fact is, since it is not an ambush battle, it'll be quite a bit more difficult than all those ambush battles, which are just free wins for Ikit, so it might be worth fighting and enjoying. Also, before I forget, now that I am free from the burden of doing things for a little while, or a decent while, I'll be putting some votes, polls, whatever, up in the community tab shortly, maybe tomorrow or in the next couple of days, either way, for the next new campaign and for the SFO campaigns that are upcoming, and for whatever else I decide on doing, after I compile all the suggestions. Anyway, pretty simple setup we got in this battle. Rant or aside. We have our warp fire throwers in the front. We actually have our death dealers, or our rattling guns in general, out ahead of the main force, a little bit more so than usual, mostly because the enemy has to cross essentially towards them, and I really doubt that they're going to reach them. The Jezzails, as we can see, are already working on the enemy here to some degree, though as we can see, I think only 2 of the Jezzail units are firing, the other one is blocked. The enemy does have a fairly large amount of cavalry, however. They do have artillery as well. Cavalry, 4 on this side, and I believe 4 on this side as well. Nearly half their army, which we do have to watch out for, especially as these guys will be moving through trees, and do have the potential to charge us. I even set up some rattling guns over on the side, specifically so that we could deal with said cavalry. And it's also going to be out there just counter-charging them as best we can. And there we go. Now I'm going to get it back to normal speed. Wanted to keep it slow, or else the battle would have been mostly over by the time that the description of the stuff was done. And here we go. Enemy's going to charge directly towards us, and as we can see in the woods here, some of the enemy cavalry is heading directly towards our warp fire throwers. These are the Doombringers over on this side, together with the Ikit, of course, who have 42 melee defense and are pretty darn decent at defending, especially with the numbers being in 48 as they are, and then hopefully Ikit can distract a decent amount of enemy units. The enemy artillery has been seen off already by our own artillery. That squig herd is done, and it looks like most of the enemy infantry and missile infantry are probably going to be in pretty bad shape as well. We do have the cavalry moving in, but we do also have menace below to counteract them. If anything, we probably could have set this up in such a way that we were a little bit further back instead of here, because this hill and that forested area are kind of interfering with the shots that are coming in. Oh no, that's not good. Okay, we have our avalanche mortars firing on our own warp fire throwers unit. Yeah, you really have to control that one unit more than any other unit. One volley from it is really quite devastating. But anyway, what we could have done is also set up like all the way back here and just force the enemy to go across an empty field rather than being able to use these hills and the forest for cover. But frankly, this, I don't know, I said that like 6 times. This army makes me a little bit cocky, so I don't care as much, and I really still doubt the ability of an enemy single army to threaten us. If it was 2 armies, yeah, we'd probably have to put in a little bit more effort there, but with only 1 army, it's just not gonna happen. Oh, look, some of their infantry might actually reach us. So those Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins, or actually no, those are just Savage Orc Biggins. Okay, well they almost reached our warp fire throwers, but ended up just short. Alright, well the rattling guns and the warp fire throwers are taking care of most of the infantry, and in fact, as we suspected, they did fail to reach us. One of the enemy chariot units did get right in the middle of our formation and is now preventing our Ikit Zap from firing, I guess. Fortunately, we do have Jezzail units that are going to focus them down and should be able to snipe them fairly decently. Otherwise, our clan rats are distracting the boar boys over on this flank, and Ikit is still distracting chariots and boar boys on this flank, and I think we should be pretty good shortly. Also decently impressed with the warp fire thrower's ability to actually shoot through trees. Granted, like at least half of the shots do smash into trees and then not hit anything, but a decent amount also come through. It's burninating forests. decently effective there. Oh, and we have a Flensing Ruin coming down on top of all of that, plus of course the Clan Skryre, Clanstone, and whatever else we can get, but otherwise the battle is pretty much over. The enemy Goblin Wolf Chariots have been pretty much sniped, though at least a few shots are going to go into our artillery pieces. None of them are going to knock out the actual artillery, just a few of the crew, and I do believe the rest of the enemy army will shatter. The enemy Lord is also not going to achieve anything by the looks of it. Oh, lovely. Alrighty, well, and now it's just a matter of shooting as many of them as we can. Of course, the enemy army will survive. They were not in march stance since they were sieging us, so we will need to chase them down. So we want to get as many of them killed as possible. Ah, I was hoping those avalanche mortars would kill these two, but let's see if they can fire again. These guys might just escape, though, of course, with only 2 of them remaining. That unit is no longer viable anyway. I guess the Zap Zap wanted to focus that unit down in particular. Ikit's also doing a little bit of chasing, trying to get those Savage Orc Error boys, who were, deployed to a little bit close to the forest. I guess they were also somewhat using it for cover, and not that it made any kind of difference. And there we go. I think most, if not all, of the damage that we took in this particular battle was due to the avalanche mortars, and the tiny bit of damage due to friendly fire and that chariot. But otherwise, the battle is most definitely ours. Alright, speed it up to max. There's Pumpernickel pumping away. Enjoying the show. Ikit's gonna chase down a few more units, which once again does make sense. And exploding the last of them, and there we go. Beautiful. Decisive victory as expected, and we got one more fight, though, well, I suppose we'll see. Let's also see the damage, other than the avalanche mortar damage. Alright, very nice. A little bit damage to one of our warp fire thrower units, but as usual, the stars of the show for the enemy army were our own avalanche mortars, because they were the ones that damaged the warp fire throwers. Otherwise, not too much damage, and we'll just eat those captives and heal up. Ikit could have probably actually cast a few more spells to heal to full, but at the end of the day, it won't make much difference. The massive 4-cal has... oh, there's a problem. If we go for you, we probably won't be able to go for you. And I'd rather take out the full stack, which might mean... if this guy attacks again, we might lose the massive 4-cal. I guess we could summon a lord there. Oh, that's really annoying. But this guy's in march stance, we gotta have it. You know what? Go here and we'll see. We'll see how far we can go. Like so, and it's an ambush. I'm honestly not even sure that this is worth the effort. We've seen so many of these, and even though they're entertaining, I feel like maybe we save this one for killing Grom and just auto-resolve this one, because, well, we've got CORPABLE'S fights to fight, and that's a lot of work there. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll just auto-resolve this one. There'll be plenty more of these. And an ambush there. Oh, wow, I should not have auto-resolved that. How did they hurt the avalanche mortars? Are you kidding me? If anything, it should have hurt the units that had the least range. It makes sense for them to hurt the Doombringers, because the Warp Fire Throwers have relatively small range compared to the Avalanche Mortars, but how the heck did that happen? Well, it doesn't matter because we heal to full, but still irritating. Alrighty, Dragon Main Jam, and let's see how far... ah, yeah, you can't move very far. Oh, well, that's a shame. This guy's probably going to attack Massive 4-cal then. We'll probably have to summon a Temp Lord there as well. Okay, well, we'll do that in a bit. Now, Ikit, let's put you... Now, let's put you a little bit closer to Grom. I basically want Grom to have nowhere to run. Bet Mutant can... oh. We could put Mutant here now, but then that just sacrifices Brion. And Brion is an actually built-up place, whereas the Massive 4-cal has just started to be built up, and frankly, we haven't invested a lot into it, so we probably don't care all that much either. And it has 5 breaches, and probably no repairs on those towers either, so... Nonetheless, let's get the temporary lord in here right now. Let's say... Well, we need somebody who can cast. Though, usually I'd go for a warlock master, but in this one situation, I think perhaps a Grey Seer of Plague would be better. Why? Because he can use Vermintide. Yeah. Let's go for Grey Seer of Plague, and we'll just delete him later. our cash, our poor cash. Rank 16, eh? We're getting close to that. Alrighty, so you want, how much mana do you have? 50? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Max out Vermintide, we can get Plague Rash as well. What are we facing off against here? Bunch of boar boys and stuff. Yeah, okay, that's fine. And let's go Inspiring Presence, obviously. You have no units and you will have no units here. I guess we just go fully into the spell tree. The Dreaded 13th could make... Yeah, you know what? The Dreaded 13th would be quite useful. Let's get Blessed with Filth, because it's cheap, or relatively cheap. I guess we could get Wither as well. Or we could just reduce the cost of Blessed with... You know what? Yeah, let's get Blessed with Filth, Evasion, double up on the Dreaded 13th, and then get Magical Reserve... No, Earthing. Because we don't want to miscast, and... You get Tail Weapon for a little bit more damage, but we probably wouldn't be putting you into a fight anyway. Likelihood of using Pestilent Breath over Vermintide, fairly low. I think we'd probably just prefer spamming Dreaded 13th and Vermintide instead. Let's just get your Warp Tokens, and that's as good as it's gonna get. I don't think we'll need more, and we have no Regiments of Renown, and we don't need allied recruitment right now. Although Mutant number 4, or is it 3? You are going to get some more, I don't know, Skaven slaves like so. Not gonna bother with the global recruitment, whether Grom attacks you or not. I think it's not going to change much. We'll actually see what Grom does. I would be curious. I sincerely doubt that he's going to attack Ikit, who is actually a little bit damaged, but he can always heal up. Yeah. What might happen is maybe Grutshot will attack Bordello or Castle Best Stun, and then Grom will March Stance out to it. Well, I guess Bordello's the only one that can happen to. He's not taking Bordello, there's no way. The garrison there is too good. Alrighty, well, let's continue. You, Garth, take out Yori Cromson. How many levels do you have? Just the 2? You're also immortal. Standard Eye and Warp Smart. I guess, wait, what's the level on the Plague Monks? They won't benefit from it. Yeah, the thing is, these chariots were in here temporarily. I don't actually necessarily want them in this army. And actually, this was supposed to be a temporary army as well. Maybe we'll do some global recruitment in a second. Hey, 14 food, not bad. A little bit of healing, but I think we'll just enslave, get that food back up. Yeah, we're 92% now, not bad. And faction destroyed Ziflin. Then, you are going to move to either Blackstone Post... or as close to Gisoro as possible. Well, I guess we can attack Gisoro next turn no matter what, so it doesn't matter. And then maybe we'll get rid of those chariots, but maybe not right now. We'll see. I mean, it should be decent enough of an army to take this stuff, with the possible exception of Castle Artois, because it'll have to be a siege, but we do have a lot of artillery, so it should probably be fine as well. Also, before I forget, tech, what were we gonna go for next? I think it's gotta be... probably infantry move speed, so it's one of these, yeah. Hit and run. Let's get fight dirty then. Reject poor recruits is fine, but for 4 turns, I think there's better stuff that we can get. And especially since we can start moving through several things that we may want in these lines. Ambush success chance +5 would have been helpful in the defense, but I'm sure it'll be helpful against a massive number of armies that we still have to face off against. Okie dokie. Next up. Ooh, wait. You, dominating scheme. It feels like it's been a while. Perform right. And that reduces the recruitment cost, which means we can save a little bit of cash on you, Signlet. Let's cancel... Oh, wrong thing. Let's cancel those Giselles real quick. Where are you, Giselles? And get them back up. There we go. And then you are recruiting a couple plague... Okay, fine. You can do the same thing, I guess. There we are. Very nice. Alright, is this guy going overboard with the global recruitment when somebody else might be making use of it? Maybe. Maybe. But we'll see. We might retool some of that. Now, you know what? Let's take out all of these guys because they're kind of annoying. You're gonna move down here, Metable, to Doran Redax, and we'll see if he can run away. Although, frankly, there's probably nothing else that he can take over, but, you know, should probably still kill him. You can have, I guess, the Rubbish Pit. You don't need growth in this territory anymore. It doesn't really matter which one we make, because they make the same amount of cash, and this one at least gives us recruitment bonuses. Once again, technically we should probably replace everywhere with the Rubbish Pits as opposed to the growth buildings, but, you know, maybe it's some other time. Also, you are building your Pestilent Nave, yes? Yes. I guess, well, you have... I guess you can get one of these then. Yeah, let's go for that. Alright, I guess we could also get more military stuff there, but it's probably also not super necessary. Cyprus, battle deployment, great, auto-resolve that. And you will no longer be needed. Though I suppose the question is whether we want to transfer some of your stuff. Oh, right, no, we have to transfer your Jezzails to Metable anyway. So let's move out. Free Power Stone. Getting a lot of items lately, which is nice. I mean, considering the amount of battles we've been doing, not surprising. And hey, we got enough warp fuel again. Beautiful. Though as to whether we want to build another nuke or maybe upgrade our Doom Flayers is also another question. Now, Mutin 2, what do we do with you? Did I just call... okay, whatever. Mutant number 2, and then... Okay, now... This is gonna bother me unless I do this. They both have to be named similar things. In my headcanon, basically what happened is that Mutant fought so well that Ikit decided to clone him, so this is the original, and then the other mutants are clone attempts. Maybe we just have a bunch of lords all named Mutant now. But anyway, the thing is, what do we do with you? You were originally built to fight orcs, not dwarfs, because your army won't outrange dwarf artillery. We also have a decent amount of stuff here, but yeah, I think we'll need all the reinforcements that we can get here, because there's still 1, 2, 3, well, there's 2 dwarfen factions, or 3 dwarfen factions and 2 orky factions, 3 if we count the Grimgor's Ard boys, that we still have to fight up here. Of course, there's also the dwarfs down here, but the question is, do we actually need help down there? Because if Scheif moves up, then we might not. You know what, I think for now we'll send Mutant 2 up to help out against the dwarfs and orcs, and then we'll see. We also do want to take out Vlad and sack those places that we've been wanting to sack for ages, so, yeah. Alrighty, also Mutant and Skrull. Before I forget, you guys want to destroy the rest of this. So let's move up Skrull, Mutant, auto-resolve this. Let's take out the remnants of Clan Ankrant in ambush, sure. Could have had those ambushes when... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I forgot he had barely any HP remaining. Oh, wow. That could have actually killed him. I really should have checked. Damn. Also, what's our food at? 96%. Oh, okay. Which means I guess we don't technically need the food. But get it anyway. Just because it's basically no money. Hey, and we got another Scalm out of that. Very nice, Mutant. Very nice. So here's the question. If you do this, will you now die? Find out.
Skryre says yes.
Auto-resolve? No, he won't die. Beautiful. Alright. And I guess more 11 food. Damn. We need to capture a settlement. Huh. Okay, okay, sure. We'll capture a settlement. Let's get more food then. And also, messenger ooh, another banner of the Under Empire, Scroll of Blast, the Screaming Bell for Skrull, and Clan Angren destroyed. Skrull, you're out of here for now. You have Sharp Claws, yeah, oh, and you have the Helmet Discord that you found. But for now, I don't think you'll be needed. We have no use for Envoy of the Council or anything like that, but you are also costing us insane amounts of money. Goodbye. Frankly, Boilerin is doing the same, but we might transfer some of his army to Mutant just to allow him to move out. before we do. Also, Scalpite, let's move you southward.
Master,
And let's say here, we'll see if we can jump over to this, and if we can't reach it, we'll just go via the sea. Have you take Deadhead Monoliths. Now, what we want to do here is have Shaif take Nahwantul,
attack the things.
even though it's a little bit further than we'd like from helping out Corpable. We'll auto-resolve this, and then we'll sack it. Yeah, just sack it. It's free 2k. And more items, great. And then we will occupy the tier 3. Yeah, we really needed to occupy some settlements. And nope, wood. And there we go. This will heal you up to full, and then you can move to Suntree Glades, or possibly to Zalatlan. I wonder if you could reach it in one turn. What is this? Is this a little island, or what is this? Oh, okay, I thought it was like a Skull Island or something like that, but apparently it's just a little piece of... Wait, actually it is something. It is a Skull Reef. Oh my. Okay, so you can get a free 20k next turn if you stop attacking the lizards for a second. Well, that'll have to be a decision. Alrighty, well, I think that's enough admin for... Wow. Got 7. Okay, fine. We'll build a nuke. I'd love to spend it on... Oh, we can actually do both. We can build one... What? Oh, we have a cooldown on building them, don't we? Yeah, because before we... Damn it. Before we didn't have enough, and now we do. Alright, you know what? I'm not going to spend the warp fuel then, and the reason for that is basically a superstition, because earlier we were basically getting no warp fuel for ages. So I feel like if we spend some now, the game's going to be like, oh, well, let's give you no more again for a while. So rather than that, we're just going to attack with Corpable. Vrongni, Half Hand. You are going to be the first of the enemies we face off against. Well, let's hope that we don't take too much damage. No ambush either. Now, we could back off and try again. Or we could directly fight this. I'm very wary of the enemy Iron Breakers here. And that's a lot of miners, damn. And the only problem is that we don't have a lot of movement with Corpable. Ambush would be nice. You know what, I think we'll take this in a regular battle, just for now, because there's no guarantee that we'll get the ambush. And hopefully we'll just be able to heal up nicely. Alrighty, let's get the Dwarf Hide Banner on... I guess No, you know what, let's put it on one of the Giants. I feel like the Giants might need it more than anybody, because they're going to get focused down, let's face it. And Pyrrhic Victory, we shall see about that. We do have the Menace below, we do have Vermintide access, and a decent amount of mana as well. We're not going to bother increasing the amount of Vermintide, I think. Even though we do have the food for it. Let's just fight like this.
Rakatai!
Alrighty, here we go, Corpable. This is going to be the first of many battles for you, my friend, and the goal for this battle, the name of the game, as much as possible, is going to be preservation of units. We can't be losing models, because we won't be able to stand up towards 5 full stacks or 6 full stacks. I don't remember if it's 4 or 5 after this one. Anyway, one of the good things about this particular battle is that we've started off against an army that has an extremely limited number of enemy units that can hit us in range. They have no artillery, and while they do have some Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes, some regular Iron Drakes, and some Thunderers, we definitely outrange them, which is gonna be a rarity for Corpable's army in particular. We've also deployed as far from the enemy as possible, and obviously on the only hillish sort of terrain available, which is in this edge of the map, because down here would be a pretty bad idea. And we are going to have the Jezzail snipe as many of the most elite units, i.e. the Iron Breakers and the Giant Slayers, as they can, followed by Thunderers and Iron Drakes and other such things. But otherwise, yeah, we are going to try to go as long as possible without engaging our Storm Vermin. And the enemy is also not actually in range of our artillery rather. We're just going to let them approach as much as they can, but we also want to use as much of the ammo on our Jezzails as possible. So here we go, Jezzails. Once again, it's all you. Alright, firing away. We are now focusing 2 different units down. Those iron breakers have to go. I am terrified of them throwing satchel charges into formations of storm vermin. For a good reason. A single volley of satchel charges is just way too strong, and basically cripple a unit of storm vermin with that, and then we will no longer be viable. Alrighty, fortunately the Giselles do pretty good at knocking these iron breakers down. Actually, they'll be knocking down iron drakes as well shortly. Alright, now switch into a unit of thunderers, which should go down very quickly compared to the iron breakers as well. And it looks like the enemy doesn't want to approach us as yet, perhaps because the artillery wasn't in range. I feel like if we had started off with the artillery firing immediately, the enemy army would have gone for us. But like this, with just the Giselles going for them, it looks like they want to just stay back, which is kind of interesting. I'm gonna have to pay attention to that. Maybe have to use the same sort of strategy in the future. Let's see how much damage we can do with the Giselles. Looks like that poor unit of Thunderers is nearly gone. I'm actually surprised that the enemy has not gotten angry and approached us yet. They have been switching their formation slightly. As we can see, these guys are moving here. I guess switching the way that they're lined up as compared to our army, since it wasn't directly ahead of them. And once these units get here, let's see. Maybe it has nothing to do with the artillery at all, but rather the fact that the army was just repositioning itself. And alright, these guys are now in position, and no, they're not moving. Alright, well. Oh wait, actually there is one more troop that's moving that's trying to get into this little location. Okay, fair enough. They got sniped by the Giselles, and there we go. Now the army is angry enough. Yet another unit, that's the Troll Hammer torpedoes, I believe, here, dropping. Oh, you gotta love Giselles. If we had 4 Giselles in this army, this would have been, well, twice as devastating. Certainly it makes me want to get a few more Giselles, but I also don't want every single army to rely on Giselles. It's just that, at this point, I kind of consider them to be the main ranged unit that we have for various armies. I mean, it's not like we're going to be using slingers, though I do actually want to build one army that has a bunch of slingers. Maybe sort of like half Eshin, half Moors sort of army, with lots of storm vermin, but also lots of Eshin. We'll see. Still various army compositions I definitely want to try, and I actually want to try an army with a bunch of Giselles, but also a bunch of Doom Wheels at the same time. Sounds like a fun time. Anyway, let's see what kind of damage we've done. Looks like that enemy Iron Drake with Trollhammer torpedo unit is pretty much done for. The enemy's lost about 300 units so far. Actually, not as many as I would have liked, but we have been focusing specific ones. So it's those Iron Drakes and those Iron Breakers that have taken the brunt of our hits. I don't really care nearly as much about the Longbeards and such. And of course, now we have the Warp Lightnings hitting some enemy units, but the Warp Lightnings aren't all that great at dishing out damage to units like this, so they're probably not going to do anything crazy. Certainly making me wish for some Plague Claws in this army, but we'll have to deal. And we'll have to deal with this for quite a few stacks, so yeah, I doubt we're going to have a chance to replace those units. Alrighty, crossing the field, but once again we do have the speed advantage, and we can continue backing off with the Giselles towards the rest of our army. We are now lined up, but we also have our Plague Priest out front. We will be able to use both the Menace Below Vermintide as well as, I don't remember the name of the Plague Monk summoning unit. I want to say Pestilent Birth, as opposed to Pestilent Breath. It is Pestilent Birth, alright. And there we go, backed off again with the Giselles, and then a few more volleys into a few more Iron Breakers. Every unit dead is one less satchel charge that we'll have to deal with. And we're allowing the enemy to draw in very, very close here, but fortunately the Hammerers aren't a threat, they are too slow. And there we go, the first of our Menaces Below has opened up. or the hole in the ground has opened up, and they're going to be distracting some iron breakers while we hopefully snipe them away. More enemy units are moving towards us. We are also going to get our plague priest running forward, summoning that vermintide, and shortly that pestilent birth as well. This is also going to hopefully be a decent amount of work for our death globes, which will absolutely wreck dwarfen formations. All that armor piercing and that tight formation that the dwarves have means these guys have a lot of kills that they can get. Ooh, and that's a lot of satchel charges coming in onto our poor plague priest. This is probably going to hurt. Hopefully a decent amount will miss though as we've started moving. That is definitely very dangerous. I don't remember which campaign it was. I think it might have been my Thorek campaign in Total Warhammer 2. But I remember just killing a lord with a volley of satchel charges. Like, it was just an instantly exploding a lord like that, which was pretty funny. So I'm now kind of wary of the same thing happening to us. Anyway, both the Jezzails and the Death Globes are doing pretty good against these hammers. They're having a difficult time approaching us, and they may not even get to our lines of... oh, more satchel charges. They may not even be able to get to our main line of Storm Vermin. In addition to that, at the same time, our Lord has moved in to try to prevent these other Iron Breakers from doing too much damage, etc. But CORPABLE'S gotten quite a lot of damage on him from those enemy Giant Slayers, and we're gonna have to back off. Fortunately, this is relatively trivial, and CORPABLE should actually be able to heal himself pretty much to full, as he does have a healing potion on top of the natural regeneration of the Brood Horror there, so he'll be fine. It's a deceptive amount of damage. Alrighty, and it looks like some hammers have actually made it to the Storm Vermin here, and one of the first Storm Vermin loses his head, unfortunately, but that's alright. Not a big deal. I also wanted to avoid committing the Giant Slayers as much, or the Giant Slayers, the Giants as much as possible, because we can't heal them up. If they take damage in this battle, and we get the healing post-battle, they won't heal like any of the other large units like the heroes and stuff, so I gotta keep the Giants back as much as possible. Fortunately, our summoned Plague Monks are doing pretty good. We got 2 of them on the field now. They're distracting enemy units. They're also taking hits from enemy satchel charges from the enemy miners and stuff, but we don't really care about that. Looks like some Thunderers are also thundering away at our Plague Priest there. Gotta be careful as he also cannot heal. There's those satchel charges. Also hitting the enemy just as much as our summoned units, so that's a worthwhile trade. Alrighty, and our Jezzails are still working on it. They still got ammunition. Ooh, that was a nice volley of satchel charges, though I suppose our Lords taking hits from satchel charges is actually fairly decent. I'll take it. And there we go. Looks like very, very few of the enemy... these are just some dead clan rats. Very few of the wait, are these dead Storm Vermin? I think those are dead. No, I think those are dead clan rats. They can't be Storm Vermin. Yeah, there's barely any dead Storm Vermin here. And got a little bit scared for a second. Jezzails still have ammunition, although they are now starting to run out. They've done a lot of damage. 141 kills on one, and 209 kills on the other, though the Death Globes are also getting quite a lot of kills themselves. I definitely shortly want to build an army that has at least 6 units of Death Globes, because we haven't been using them nearly as much. Oh, nice miss from that Troll Hammer Torpedo, and you shouldn't have missed because that was your probably only chance. There we go, those Death Globes. Oh, there's still a couple of Troll Hammer Torpedoes here, though probably not for long once the Jezzails have anything to say about it. Continuing to send our summoned units forward, and they're providing cover for our Death Globes to continue doing the damage, and now our Giants are towering over the rest of the enemy forces and are moving in towards the remnants of the enemy. No more satchel charges, and with the Skaven, or the Vermintide, out front, we're not afraid of losing units anymore, and I do believe our Jezzails are basically out of ammo now. Fortunately, it no longer matters, as just like that, the enemy army shatters. Very nice. Very nice. And as we can see, CORPABLE is now at 3/4 HP, and while we don't need to chase in this particular situation, because the enemy's in march stance, we're gonna chase a little bit just to allow CORPABLE to heal up. What is he doing? Just running around in a circle there. Yeah, just gonna allow him to regenerate a little bit more. Of course, we don't have to go full-on regeneration, because for the next battle we could just allow him to heal up via his healing potion, and if, like this one, we wait around for the enemy, he would heal up waiting for them as well. But do a little bit of chasing just to get a little bit more HP. Plus the Giants probably want to swing away with their clubs at least a little bit since they didn't get to play this time, since we are saving them for when we get ourselves into more dangerous situations. It is nice to see the Giants completely visible and not in a dark map, though. Alrighty, well. And Gisele's even going to get a few more shots out. Anyway, I guess we're going to speed up the rest of this as we don't need to see it. Corporable's going to go after the enemy lord and should be reasonably quick at taking him out. And we never actually needed to fight the enemy lord. Glad that he wasn't so close. He did stay with the enemy ranged units, so he didn't do too much damage via his anti-casting abilities towards our Plague Priest. As we were definitely relying on all of those clan rat summons via Vermintide and those pestilent births. Anyway, a decisive victory for Corporable. Very few units look dead by, I think anyway, by the looks of it. Well, let's find out for sure. Alrighty, not too bad at all. Interestingly, a very minimal amount of healing from Eat Captives, so the slight amount of damage that we've taken does remain. Most of the damage was dealt to our Plague Priest, who did serve a very important purpose in being out front and repeatedly summoning Vermintide and Plague Monks to distract the enemy. Otherwise, it was once again, as it has always been, the Warplug Gisele's show. 36k damage and 30k damage, just sniping away all those elite units before the enemy could react. Not a lot of action for the Warp Lightning Cannons, unfortunately, and I am certainly considering replacing them with some Plague Claw catapults in this army, but I will continue thinking about it. I mean, in certain situations they might be better, but in this particular situation we would have definitely done a lot more damage with artillery if we had Plague Claws. But again, it's against a slow foe, and when will Corpable have time to global recruit? I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, we'll eat those captives. 95% food now, very nice. And we got ourselves a Talisman of Preservation out of it. Very, very nice. Now, one of the reasons we probably can't afford backing off with Corpable is that we need to not only be able to continue attacking these guys, and we'll have to decide who. We could Lightning Strike Dimzad here, but will we be able to then get back to Kasabar? It might be safer to attack Morgus here and then back off to Kasabar. Though we would want to avoid going into march stance as well. On the other hand, if we were able to destroy two armies like this, that would be pretty great, but I don't think we could take on 3 armies in the field. Also, Morgus is a hurt army, so there is that to consider. Also, Metable, you currently have the Terrifying Mask of E. I think at least for 1 or 2 battles, we may want to give you a healing potion. But then take it away once... Okay, well, that's not an ancillary. And then take it away so that you don't die later. We actually have no free healing potion, but we should have a free Scalm around. Because we just got one. Yes. Take the Scalm, use it to heal. Because we really need you at reasonably full HP. I guess we could have swapped the Scalm with the healing potion around, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. Alrighty, well... Unfortunately, with that, I think we're out of time. We're going to have to call it here. Next episode, Corpable will fight at least one more battle against one of these forces, and then probably move back into Kasabar, where he will try his best to hold. If we take out only one, we will still have 3 full stacks. And that we have to take care of, and they won't be in march stance anymore either. Kasabar also doesn't have the alarm tunnel or any of the garrison buildings and is only a tier 3, so once it gets sieged it's going to be quite dangerous. Still, hopefully Corpable can pull it off, we shall see. In addition, Shaif will continue moving through the territories of the Talaqua. We could actually peace out with them at this point if we really wanted to, but I'm no longer sure whether we do. When we needed to peace out with them, they refused to, and now Shaif is so near to their territories, which they have 5 of. He could probably take most of them out before they regain any of their territories. I do wonder who's here. Who's at Tor Serpindar? Who's right beside these guys? It would be really... It's not Big Bird, because there's no corruption here. There's plenty of Tzeentch corruption down south, though, which it does have me a little bit concerned, because I don't want to find Tzeentch and then have them start annoying us, even if it's a minor Tzeentch faction. And it looks like they have... Oh, they've destroyed the Ghost of Pahwaks. Yeah, the Godless Crater has fallen. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, out of curiosity, are you at war with any Tzeentch factions? You are not. Huh. Maybe whoever is south of you is fighting with them? I'm not entirely sure what's going on over there. Well, I guess we'll find out eventually, but either way, calling it here next time. Corporable will fight. Maybe Ikit will fight again if we end the turn there. We will definitely also be destroying the rest of the Karazakarak dwarfs remnants here, and then we'll probably be setting up our armies for the assault on Karazakarak itself shortly, and possibly a battle against both Thorgrim and his other full stack. In fact, if we do enough ambushes, we may succeed in drawing them out into a massive field battle with 2 to 3 armies. Though you are still missing a few troops. I think we should be able to pull that off, especially considering what we've already pulled off in this particular territory. And then we'll start moving Metable out towards Vlad, because we really want to sack Schwarzhofen and Castle Drakenhof, now that we have tier 5 underway nexuses there. I will be so salty if the dwarfs manage to destroy them, and it does look like Logazor here is moving towards Schwarzhofen, which is relatively undefended. Granted, it's probably not worth a crazy amount of sack value, but Castle Drakenhof most definitely is, being a tier 5 with a gold mine, so we can't let that go. It's probably worth at least 60k. Gotta get our money back after building all those buildings. Anyway, stay tuned for more rats. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm. And hopefully the new lords will come back shortly as well. And thanks for watching.